Hello and welcome back, everybody. I'm glad to have you here. As you can tell, this is going to be a long video. I tried to make it as short as possible, but this project in particular took me about a month to complete, so that's kind of why it's so long. But I'm glad you're here, and let's get started with the show. I hope you enjoy. For those who are not Zelda fans, this is a dragon named Dinraal from Breath of the Wild game. There's 3 dragons in total, but Dinraal is my favorite, so I decided to sculpt him first. And also, this is my first time really sculpting anything. Unless you count a gingerbread man I did, which I have to, but So, I'm not very good at this, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so bear with me as I try to bring you along in this mess of a thought process. Right now, I am making the base of the skull, which honestly should be hollow, but God forbid that I, actually, make it hollow. It'll just make things worse. And right now, I'm making the nose part, like the little nose part of the dragon. The nostrils. There we go, nostrils of the dragon. And there is absolutely no reference for for any of these dragons in skull form. So I had to, thankfully my friend sent me a big old reference book. It's the official reference books for Breath of the Wild game. I think it's something of the heroes, Ballad of the Heroes, I believe that's what it's called. And there's this little picture of the dragon skulls. They're about maybe an inch, maybe even less than an inch big. And so I actually had to go in, scan it, and enlarge that picture on Photoshop to make it about 5 inches big so I can actually have something to reference. And, make it actually, be useful in some way. Or else it's just going to be my head on top of that book. It'd been awful. But here you can see I am trying to make the cheekbones of the dragon, and it really doesn't look like anything. It looks like a big hot mess. And I think I'm trying to make the brow line of the dragon. It's honestly been too long since I actually worked on this, because right after I was done, I had to leave town for a vacation with my family. I hadn't seen my family all of a year. We all had our vaccines, and finally we got to see each other, so I was excited about that. And I'm actually working on parchment paper, or wax paper. I'm not working on the table directly, so if my sister's watching this, your table is 100% safe at all times. Don't worry. And I'm trying to make eyeball incisions with the tip of a pen, the little clicky part, because I have no clay modeling tools whatsoever with me. I'm really just trying to figure out how to do this with the bare minimal of things. I have an X-Acto knife, as you can see, so that's in my ball court. That's nice. But yeah, and so I'm just making the upper eye, the eye ridge. I believe I'm blending it in as much as I can. I tried to zoom in so you can get a better look at everything, but now everything's out of frame, and I'm a big dunce for that. I have no idea what I'm trying to do here. What? Oh, I'm making the eyebrow ridges now, which I really like. Those are very nice. Sorry, I keep trying to look for the actual sculpture to look at it and compare and contrast, but I shouldn't do that because then you can't hear me anymore with the mic. My bad. So I think I made and then I baked it. So, and also don't use your X-Acto knife as a ruler without the lid on top of it, because there's a good chance you'll cut yourself. I thankfully did not, but I could have very easily. But now I'm making it the crest, like a Triceratops crest skull thing, and so that's what I'm trying to do. But I baked this quite a bit, a few times. I actually had to ask my friend if I was allowed to, if the clay wouldn't, sorry, But I had asked my friend if the clay would crack if I baked it more than once. And she said no, you're actually supposed to bake it more than one time. And is like a safe state. So if you really like how your sculpture is coming out so far, bake it, and then you don't have to worry about it not being so great anymore. So right now I'm just trying to make the crest, so that way the little frills, the bone frills thingies on it will go on it better and stuff. And I have some foil here, and I use foil to help keep the crest up, so that way it wouldn't fold over during baking. So these are things you'll need: foil, wax paper, and then, God, all these cuts are making me forget where I was trying to thought. And this is me smoothing out, making it less look like, I'm trying to make it more look like a solid piece instead of like pieces that were like thrown together. So I'm smoothing it out. I'm adding some girth to in between the back of the head and the crest and whatnot. Just make it try to look more skull-like. Like they were meant to be together. And so why do I keep putting it out of frame like that? Because I'm trying to look at it really closely. Because I'm trying to figure out where I need to put more clay and to like make it smoother and stuff. But I didn't realize I kept bringing it out of frame. My apologies for that. It will get frustrated and annoying. But we'll be frustrated and annoyed together. Again, this is me using my X-Acto knife as a roller, like a pie crust roller. And I'm finally, you can see the little reference I used. That's not the actual reference. Like, if I move the paper over a little bit, you can see what I was looking at as my reference. But right now I'm putting the frills on top of the bony frill spikes on top of the base frill thing. And this part took forever. This was like the longest part ever. Because like there was I think there was like 5 or 6 rows of these. And so I had to make sure they looked nice and whatnot. And also I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, please just make it look nice. And the more I was doing it, the more confident I got, thankfully. Because it would have been awful if I couldn't do this part. And it's just like, forever and forever. And I'm squishing, after I cut them out, I'm squishing them and making them look a little bit more organic instead of just like weird 4th grade grass. But one could only hope. And just making sure they are on the frill blade. Oh god, I can talk for a half an hour. I don't know what you guys are talking about. We're not even 10 minutes into this thing, and I can totally talk. I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm on my 2nd row of the frills. And yeah, so I'm just kind of cutting it out, making sure it looks nice. Making sure I don't get anything on the table, because my sister will kill me. Because it's her table, and she loves her table. And I wouldn't do anything to anger my sister whatsoever, because I'm not that kind of baby sister to my big sister. My big sister can always trust me to keep her things nice and not to cut off the hairs of her My Little Ponies. Sorry, kind of gone on a tangent there. But after I'm done with this row of frill spikes, I put it in the oven because I really like how it is, and I don't want to lose the progress I've had because I still have like 5 more rows to go. So I cook it, and then I keep continuing to do the rest of the frills and whatnot. And I tried to show you, but I didn't realize how fast I would have to speed this up. And then here's me, making out, like, just really quickly sketching out where I want it to end and where I want it to begin and stuff. And I get a better idea of using a pencil as a roller instead of the X-Acto knife. So, good on me. I can learn, so that's nice. But, and the worst part about working on this sculpture is that I had to work on it at night, because that's when I'm used to working on my art projects. It's when, I can have the kitchen table all to myself without bothering the rest of the family and stuff like that. And so, but since I had to bake it, the oven was like beeping at like 12 o'clock at night when everyone's asleep, and I'm like, no, shh, oven, stop beeping. I know you're ready to cook. Please stop beeping. No, shh, oven, please stop beeping because you're done cooking. I know you're done cooking. Just be quiet. You know? Every time I press the button, beep, 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 beep. It was awful. And so that's one of the reasons why it took me so long, because I didn't want to constantly keep everyone awake. And so... So that's why it also took me a long time, because I was like, if I could just get this one part done, then I can, it would be fine. I'm one step closer to not using the oven anymore. And for those who might be wondering, a skull is typically white. And you're typically correct, as in always. Unless it's old and, like, fossilized. But, a skull, typically, white. And you can clearly see here, it is not white, it is a skin pinkish color. That's because I did not want to go out to the art store to buy just white clay. I had a whole bunch of pink clay on me, and I decided to use that. And I only regretted it a little bit. Because when I had to paint it, it was really hard to get the nook and crannies. But if I do this again, maybe I'll get some white clay and make it a little bit easier on myself. But who knows? Maybe I'll make the same mistake over and over again. Only time will tell. But yeah, so this is me finally done with the head spikes, and I'm really happy how they came out. It really, it was a really nice detail, and I'm very happy for it. Am I done yet? Can we move on? No? I'm blending it in? We can't see what you're doing if it's off camera, girl. Alright, so I have now, oh god, a piece of one of the frill spikes fell off. It cracked off, and I'm very upset about it. So, instead of working on that because I got frustrated, I decided to work on his mouth. And so I think I tried to fix it with some clay, but it wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. And I was like, be gone with ye. And I also did some more blending of the clay underneath the frill base and the top frills, because it needed some blending in. And here you can see I'm trying to use a toothpick to help blend in those teeth frills. Lots of frills. Because if I used my fingers, I'm pretty sure my big fat fingers would have just squished the whole thing into oblivion. So, it's just, did I break another frill spike? I think I did. That's what's up by the thing. Oh, what's going on now? What am I preparing? What am I preparing? Oh, I'm putting teeth on. That's right, I put teeth on it. And I'm using, so I put some wet clay on there to help the teeth blend in easier since they were so tiny. And I had to use the toothpick again to help me blend it all in. And for some reason I thought using an X-Acto knife was a good idea. Could have easily killed myself right there. Be careful with sharp, pointy objects. They could easily kill you. So, just try to remember that. But I remember getting these on were a big hassle too. But in the end, it was worth it. Oh, thank God it was worth it, or else I'd been very upset. But a lot of little details for this big, chunky head. Ooh, my God. And one more tooth. One more tooth, and then we'll bake that sucker into place. Wait, what am I doing now? Oh, yes, okay, so in the reference picture, it looked like the ears of the dragon were on the skull as well. And I did try to do that, and I was able to bake them on. But as soon as I picked up the skull after it was done baking and cooling, the ears pretty much fell off. So after this, you won't see any more ears because they were just too fragile. They're too fragile, and the skull I think actually looks better without the ears. They were just too fragile, and they broke off, and I wasn't going to bother to putting them back on again because I wanted this thing done. I wanted to stop using the oven. I wanted to go on to painting. But it was a shame because I worked really hard on those, but at the end, it was all worth it. And now, for the more fun part, I'm working on the horns. And the horns are really long. Like, I think they're almost, 10 inches long? They're very long. And so, I'm using terracotta clay here, because I had terracotta clay. I only had the pink clay and the terracotta clay. And I'm using my fingers to squish it to make it more horn-like, using the toothpick to give it some details. And then later on, I realized that I made two, I believe, right horns. I didn't make a left horn, because they're supposed to mirror each other. But don't worry, before I baked them, I figured that out and I fixed it. And I made it so they were not like that. So, it was okay. Don't worry, everyone. I fixed it before I baked them. So, that would have been so sad if I didn't, if I made two of the same side horns. I'd be like, no, why? Oh, I've been just so sad. And now the horns are baked and are of opposite sides. And I'm making a little base so they can go easier onto the skull once I'm done painting them. So I'm making sure they can get on, they're slanted and stuff. Just make sure it looks more fluid in the final product and whatnot. So, and really it took me much longer than it should have. I put too much on one, too little on the other, and whatnot. So, it was just, it was kind of just a trial and error kind of thing and whatnot. So, yeah, but you know. So, just, wait, I put way too much on that one. Take it off, girl. Yeah. Still good? No, still too bulky. Take it off. Alright, does it fit now? Alright, I guess I'm happy enough with that. I'm putting some detail on it so it doesn't look so weird and out of place. Bake those again. And a tooth fell off, and I was going to use some rubber gloves, as you see there, to glue them back on. And same thing with that fill spike, but the glove got in my way too much, and I had to take off my glove, and I got super glue on my hands and almost glued my fingers together. Alright, and now finally I'm on to the painting, and it took me about 3 to 4 coats of white paint to finally get the nice, nice pristine white color I wanted. So finally I could stop using the oven and potentially waking up my family, and this just, I could start working on it whenever I wanted. And so the hardest part was, when it came to painting, was making sure I got all in between the spikes, the frill spikes, because those are it was easy to miss one, or not to get all the way down to the base. And so I really had to make sure I was meticulous about that, where I'm like, oh no, a tip got missed, have to repaint it. Oh no, I didn't get quite to the base of this one. Oh, the back end, or the bottom half of it doesn't look good, yada yada yada. So it was just a lot of that, where I had to make sure everything looked okay and that my fingers didn't get dried to the paint. So it was a lot of making sure it was dry enough so I could hold it at one point, and then making sure I covered it all in the same amount of coats. It was very math like, I assure you. Sure. And then after I'm done painting that, because we're looking at nothing right now. Thank you. Oh, another tooth came off. Had to fix it. It's fixed. Okay, and then we go on to the horns. So I used a dark brown and dried brushed it on. And dried brushing means I just didn't put the paintbrush into the water first. I have a dry brush and I'm just scraping on paint on there. And I'm also using the napkin there to kind of give it more texture. You know, I'm taking off some of the paint after I put it on, just so it can get to a darker brown, but not too much darker brown. And as you can see, I mean, I hope you can see, in the crevice, the brown is darker because the napkin can't get into the crevices. And so it makes it look more realistic. It's just, something I thought looked nice. And I was very happy with the results. And we can't see it if it's off camera, girl. It doesn't matter how good of a job you did if we can't see it. Oh my god. I'm not sure if I'll sculpt again. If I do, it won't be for a while, because it was forever, and I didn't do a very good job recording. And of course I can't go back and record it, unless I do it again. This is conundrums all over the place. Again, I have parchment paper underneath my workspace, so I'm not just putting paint on top of the table. Don't put paint on top of your nice tables, people. That's just, that's bad. Take care of your things. Make sure they're all nice and clean. Yeah, no? And then, am I done painting that one yet? Oh yeah, look, that's pretty nice. Alright, and that's the skull. That's all nice with the paint, and it's nice and bright and white. And now I'm starting to paint on some details. So, those are the mouth scales. Not really sure what to call them, but I'm adding some light brown, yellowish brown onto it. I think it looks very nice. And I'm also adding those to the teeth so they can pop out, because usually teeth yellow over time and whatnot. So it's just a nice thing to help the details pop out against the white, because the white really did take a lot of the clay details out of it, because you can't really see anything beyond the white. So, and I'm painting underneath this mouth scales, just, to help them look nicer, and I think I get some paint on his chinny chin. But that's okay, because it's not much, and I can just go over it again. Giving that, I think I'm giving them a second layer, second go over with, paint, because they were a little bit too see-through. Oh, you can see my head a little bit. Oh. And then, I got some paint there, and I'm just covering up a mistake I did, and I'm tightening up the details, so, because, again, I want to make sure all the details can be seen easily, because, dang it, I worked way too hard in that sculpting to have any details be missing. Okay, I need everyone to be able to see them, and then tell me how good they are, and, help my ego. Oh, God. And just tightening up those details some more. Paying way too much close attention to those details. Only I will ever see it this close. Yeah, what are we doing here? Yep, still tightening up those details. Going over it a third time. And then, now we're going to the base of the teeth to give them, again, like, more realistic feel to them. So, because usually, at least from my observations, my loose observations on skulls, usually the base are darker than the tips. I'm not sure why. I'm sure an archaeologist or a bone expert can tell me. Don't tell me what you do, just tell me how the bones work. I went, oh, this is the fun part. So this here, I am going in with my thick brush, what is it called? Well, it's like a bristle. It's a bristle brush. There we go. And I'm going back and adding some color to the skull to again help the the different layers of the fill spikes and the other dimensions of the skull pop out, because otherwise it would just be all lost in that one tone of white. So I think this really helps it really pop out and give it that really good, like, it's just, like, the texture's so good. I like it. It's so nice, but it wasn't enough. The yellowish light brown wasn't enough for me, and so I had to go in with some, come on, I know it's coming, with some gray. So I add some little gray shadows here and there, like inside the nose and inside the eye cavities, and just around the kind of like the eyebrow area, and underneath the nose and stuff. I think I add some underneath the skull as well, if I remember correctly. If I could just see it, because it's so off camera. Why did I do this to myself? Oh, come on, girl. Come on, can we at least see it? No? Alright. Oh yeah, so I add some like little cracks to the bottom. And then I start, dab, some gray on there to give it some other texture and whatnot. And this was my favorite part. Just dabbing on that nice colors and stuff, because it was just like, oh, finally, the project's coming together at long last. Just to give it that nice texture and stuff. And then the horns, I love how the horns came out. So right now, Dinraal's horns, they glow like fiery glow. So it looks like they're on fire, kind of, like from the inside. And so, since this is a skull, I wanted to kind of give the depiction of a dying fire. So in the game, they're a lot more vibrant, a lot more glowy and stuff. But in my skull, I made the glow a lot more subtle. Where you have to kind of look, to see where, the fire was. Like, even though he's dead, long enough for him to be almost fossilized, the fire is still going on even a little bit. So I got some red there to help with the glow. Then I'm going to add the orange into some of the crevices to help with that glowing look. And I'm going to add it to not all of them, just some of them. So we got some there. Make sure I add it to the other side as well to kind of, make it look not lopsided, I guess. So, and it was hard getting inside of the curve. But yeah, it was hard to get in there and stuff. But I think, again, it came out very well, and I added some details at the bottom or whatnot, add a little ember looking things at the bottom, so if you're looking at it from the back, you would still see some nice details and whatnot. So, and then I do it too. Come on, what are we doing? What am I doing? Am I talking to someone? Okay, I must have been talking. Someone must have come down and talked to me. How dare they have a conversation with me when I am in the mode, and how dare I not put the camera on not recording while I'm talking to someone. So yeah, so then I do the exact same thing with the other horn, but I make sure I don't copy the same pattern from the first horn, because I want them to look unique enough, because fires don't really burn symmetrically, right? So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Add those little embers at the back, and then I go for yellow, for the yeller. And then, yeah, and then I add that on top of the orange to, like, I think that really helped bring it home, that it was, that there was a fire inside the horns. Like, I don't know why I love, like, this painting job. I'm really happy how it came out. I'm so happy how it came out. Put a little bit of, more little embers on it. Make it look like it's random, but it's really not random. But I like to pretend it's random because I don't know where I'm going. So, I'm actually doing a lot better job of keeping everything in the camera. So, that's nice. Yep. Little tippy tap. Make sure I get all the back. Yeah, oh no. We're going off camera. Come on, no, I just compliment you how you're doing good again. Making sure I got all of them. Putting all those little embers on again. We're going off camera again. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Oh, yeah. 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 Oh, I'm really liking those dots. Alright, so now I'm done painting. I'm just adding, some... I think I messed up a little bit, but I was just fixing some stuff. Alright, and now comes for the most... Oh, no, hold on. I'm now putting, some glaze on it to protect it. I forgot what it's called. That's a special name. But, I'm putting it... I put about 3 layers on, each on the horns, and then, 3 times on the skull. And again, it was hard because of all those little spiky things. I'm trying to get it all nice. This is me doing the horns and whatnot. And then I'm trying to glue it on, which was the worst part of it all. This part, I don't know why the super glue didn't work. I had to do experiments, but this part right here took me about an hour and a half just to get one glued on. This is me sitting there at the kitchen table for an hour and a half recording myself like an idiot. And it's not working. And then later that night, after I got the first horn on, I'm trying to glue the second horn on, and it takes me about 4 hours and it still didn't get glued on. I have no idea what happened. I was very frustrated. I, was constantly just holding it on and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my god, it was awful. So, but I finally got them on. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad it did. And I was finally finished. So overall, I'm really happy how this came out. Was it frustrating and horrible? At some points, yes. Was it satisfying and, worth it? I think so. I think definitely, yeah. So, I'm very happy how it came out, and I really hope you enjoyed my process through this. If you want to see something more like that, or like this sculpture, let me know in the comments. Until then, see you later, everybody. Bye!